Well, hello, my friends, my Jedi friends. Today I bring you a motivational video. What is that all about, Adam? What's it about? It's a surprise, folks. It's a surprise for you. Now, why am I recording? Why would I even talk about a demotivational video? And more importantly, what the hell are you doing here watching this? Why do you want to be demotivated? Well, I'm recording this video because it's curiously enough, a lot of searches have gone on YouTube for motivational video. Now, in my world, in the public speaking world, if anyone calls themselves motivational, I automatically think they're a bit of a dick. A bit of a dick, folks, a bit of a dick. Because it's not my job. If I'm the speaker, if I'm the motivational speaker, if I call myself motivational, makes me a bit of a dick. Motivational as a speaker is something that someone else gives you, not something that you give yourself. And what's interesting to me is, especially if I see an inspirational speaker, and oh, you're going to inspire me. The fact is, folks, we're going to talk about something interesting today. Despite the clickbaity title, we're going to cover something really interesting. I've got enough comments now to notice that it doesn't matter what I talk about. There's always someone that's going to find a downer on it. Great message, but not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's going to get it. So this is for you. This is for the detractors. This is for those who are looking for negativity, searching the internet for negativity. So I'm going to do the opposite style of video today that I usually do. But before I do that, before I give you a kick up the arse and tell you what an idiot you are, then I'm going to I'm going to pre-frame it by saying that there's two primary motivational forces that people have. Two primary, well, let's call it one primary, and it's a sliding scale. It's a sliding scale. This is an underlying emotion, and it's called towards and away from motivations, folks. Towards and away from motivations. And what does that mean? It means that some people, and you probably know that person, are wired to do the opposite of what you say. You say, oh, you might want to do this. And they're like, no, I don't. You tell them to do something, they'll do the opposite. You'll say you'll look for agreement, they'll disagree with you. They'll find fault in everything you say. You probably know these. We probably think that they're narcissists. They might be, folks. They might be. But the point is that some people are wired to do the opposite to what you tell them. You've probably got at least one of them in the family. You've probably got people like that all over the place. And they're the people that whatever you tell them to do or whatever you suggest that they do, they'll do the opposite. So this is going to be a demotivational video. We're going to, as an experiment, I'm going to give those detractors, the people out there that are like, no, you're not going to inspire me. No, you're not. I'm going to say to you, well, you probably won't do it. You probably won't. Because some people are wired and away from. And what they'll do the opposite of what you tell them. And if you're dealing with people like that, here's a little top tip. Tell them the opposite of what you want them to do. So let's take an example, folks. If you wanted somebody to go to play football with you today, for example, you say to the people, if you know that they're wired to do the opposite, you'll say, you probably won't want to come. In fact, I wasn't going to ask you because I know that you're not going to want to come anyway. Now, to those people, that's going to irritate them because they won't want you to predict that they're going to do something. They'll want to do the opposite. Now, this isn't always going to work, folks. But the fact is that telling somebody to do the opposite when you know that they're wired this is how you get them to comply. This is a Jedi mind trick, a Jedi mind trick. So you probably won't want to come out with me today. I didn't ask you. I wasn't going to ask you because you probably won't want to do this. And people that have this away from motivation are it's going to irritate the hell out of them that you're going to predict what they want to do. You're going to predict what they want to do. So from a motivational point of view, I would say something like, you're probably not going to want to be motivated. You probably won't want to do this exercise. You're probably a lunatic. You're a lunatic, folks. You are a lunatic. You're a lunatic. So the bottom line is, folks, that you can get people to do stuff that you want to do by telling them not to do it. So today's video, you're probably not going to want to change your life. You're probably not going to want to get out of that toxic relationship. You're probably not going to do the hard yards to get better health, better place in life, more money. You're probably not going to want to do it. You're probably going to want to sit there and do absolutely nothing. You're probably going to love doing nothing. You're going to complain a lot. You are going to sit there and pour scorn over everyone else. And also, folks, there are a demographic of people that just want to pull you down. These are lazy bastards that don't want to change their own life. They're sitting there wallowing in misery all the time. And because they can't be asked to change, it's easier for them to pull other people down into the dark space than it is to be elevated up. These are the people that are stuck in a hole, folks, and you've managed to claw your way out and you think, I'll do some good. You put your arm down to help them out and they pull you back down into the hole. They put you into the hole, folks, into the hole, into the hole. So learning to identify these fuckers out there, folks, and they are nasty, nasty bastards a lot of the time, but you just have to learn to identify them. And this is why giving them a demotivational talk is the best bet. Not trying to inspire them, calling them out. You're probably not going to want to get off your arse today. You're probably going to want to stay on the couch and not do this. You're probably going to want to stay in and say no. That's what you're going to do. That's exactly what I think you're going to do. Absolutely nothing. You're going to want to do nothing. You're going to sit there on your ass doing fuck all for the day. Now these are the sort, I know I'm going a little bit left field here, folks, but these are the sort of motivation factors when you meet people like that. You know that they're not going to do what you want. You've been there, you've done it, you've tested it at work. You can test this at work and say you're probably not going to want to do this report. You probably won't do it today. You're probably not going to do this report, but there it is anyway. Prove me right. You're going to prove me right. We've had a little bet, and I've bet that you ain't going to do it. And that's easy money for me. There's your report. That's how you motivate these people, folks. You call them out on what you think they're going to do, which is usually the opposite of what you want them to do. And people with an away from motivation will hate it. They will absolutely hate it because they won't want you to call out what they're doing. They'll want to do the opposite. Every fiber in their being will fire up and say, that fucker. They're saying, I'm not going to do this report. They've told me I'm not going to do it. And because they're so fired against to move away from, that they'll probably do the report to spite you, folks, even though that was the result that you wanted in the first place. So sometimes a demotivational talk can work if you've identified the personality profile that moves away from everything, folks. They move away from everything. They never do what you tell them to do because they are not wired that way. And the fact is, folks, that this is an underlying force. And when I studied things like NLP, neuro linguistic programming, we would talk about meta programs, and these are underlying motivations that cause people to be who they are. And identifying this one, the towards versus the away from. Now, an away from, you can usually identify them because they're a contrarian. They'll find what's wrong. If you hold up two shapes and say, what do you notice about these two shapes? Now, someone that's generally toward will look for similarities. You can ask them, you can test this. They'll look for similarities. People that are wired away from will come out with mainly differences. They're trained to find what's different, what's wrong with you. And from a deeper level, folks, these people, I'm not here to pour scorn on them as well. They're probably fucked up from birth. They're probably trained by their parents to not be good enough, to look for fault. So, this comes from a deeper level. We can zoom out on this and see a much bigger picture. This is this is family bullshit that dominoes down from one generation to the next. And again, I've talked about this on this channel. I've talked about this at length, the family domino effect. So when people are disagreeing with you, when people are pouring scorn on you, this is a great way to test what you're dealing with. And if you've reached the end of your tether, go demotivational on them, folks. Because sometimes a demotivational talk can be way more inspiring to an away from person than the motivational talk. So sometimes it's good to go demotivational, to be that pouring of scorn. This is about matching energy, folks. We get rapport with people when we match their energy. And what does that mean, Adam? That means if somebody's really down and you go, cheer up, come on, get your chin up. Nobody wants to hear that when they're at a low energy vibration. The last thing you want to hear is give us a smile, because the person in a low energy spot is far more likely to want to break your face if you start coming out with that, because you're too much misaligned from the energy space that they're at. You get rapport by matching people on their level, and you get rapport with away from people by being that contrarian, by being the away from motivation. Matching energy, building rapport. In fact, the building rapport, that's almost a little, that is, it's not almost, it's a completely different video. It's a massive skill set. It's almost a 1 week workshop in itself, folks, building rapport. But just being aware of this dynamic, this is one tiny piece in the jigsaw, just to give you a bigger awareness of a toolkit that could come in useful to you somewhere down the line, my friends. Because this is, some people are just wired this way. And if you want more pieces of this toolkit, folks, if you're finding me for the first time, you're thinking, who is this lunatic? Yes, I am that lunatic, folks. I'm that lunatic that points out stuff that you might not know, because I have a lifetime worth of experience in dealing with human behaviors and people that are under stress in medical settings, in serious health settings, in serious life settings, and in all sorts of business settings as well, folks. So I've studied human behavior. I've looked into this. I have gone deep in, I've gone deep in what fucks people up and causes mental health issues. And if you want more pieces of this jigsaw, folks, then do like and subscribe to this channel just there, because you'll get more nuggets from me. And if you want another one of those nuggets, it's just there. So, my fellow lunatics, go out, do nothing. In fact, don't go out and don't do anything.